É um evento híbrido, à distância e presencial, junta a Casa do Conhecimento, o CECS, o GT COI e o GT Jovens Investigadores. Antes, agradecer, thank you, professora Lima, e obrigado, senhora pró-reitora, professora Teresa, por aceitar também moderar o debate. Eu vou, então, iniciar, junto com o GT de Jovens, a transmissão, e já vou passar direto a palavra para a professora Teresa.
Boa tarde a todos. Vou começar com uma introdução em português e depois mudarei de língua para que a nossa convidada nos entenda, a professora Halima. Obrigada por se juntarem a nós. Esta é uma iniciativa que junta o Centro de Estudos de Comunicação e Sociedade da Universidade do Minho, a Casa do Conhecimento da Universidade do Minho e a Associação Portuguesa de Ciências da Comunicação, através de 2 GTs, o GT de Comunicação Organizacional e Institucional e o GT de Jovens Investigadores. E hoje temos o tema de comunicação organizacional. Um tema que junta este conjunto de pessoas que são aqui mais visíveis, junta o interesse que todos partilhamos por esta área do conhecimento e profissionalizante, mas também com certeza as pessoas que nos estão a ouvir. Eu agora passava a palavra a 2 pessoas que participaram também na organização e que representam aqui o GT de Jovens Investigadores, o Elmano e a Margarida, talvez queiram dizer-nos alguma coisa.
Elmano, please.
Okay, we are very glad to be here helping to organize this event today. It's such a very pleasure to enjoy this initiative, trying to promote human equality, because we are not just beginning a new time, but we are trying to make it better for everyone. And thank you so much, Professor Teresa and Professor José Gabriel, to invite us to stay here today. And we hope to learn too much with the session today. Thank you so much, everyone. And we hope to make more and more initiatives like this in the future.
Thank you, Elmano. Now we will change definitely for English, so to include our special guests. As you will know, we have with us Halima Regad, Professor Halima Regad, that is an associate professor at the Department of Information and Communication Sciences of the Mostaganem University in Algeria. She did her PhD thesis on the impact of social media on the language practices of Algerian young people. After that, she became involved in other different research areas such as digital media studies, public relations, and organizational communication. In 2015, she was awarded the first prize of the International Forum of Young Researchers in Romania. Professor Halima has published several academic papers in national and international scientific reviews and books, and has a collective book on cyber violence in digital platforms. She is currently involved in newly explored areas like digital humanities and online management of electronic reputation. But today, Professor Halima Regad is going to talk about the status of women in organizational communication, presenting a case study, some thoughts about female employees in Algeria. Professor Halima, thank you very much for your willingness to share with us your studies, your thoughts about gender studies in organizational communication, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. At the outset, let me welcome all of you. Welcome everyone. I'm very glad to be with you today in this scientific space for exchanging knowledge between Algeria and Portugal. Many thanks to Professor Jose and also Professor Teresa for scheduling this seminar, which is a very good opportunity for me to be in contact with other educational atmosphere and environment with other teachers. As you mentioned, Professor, my presentation will be about the statue of women in organizational communication. It will be a case study of the Algerian female at the workforce or at the workplace. This kind of research is a big challenge for me. I have never done this combination between these two variables. I mean, gender studies and communication, organizational communication. So I will try today to face this challenge and make this presentation. I hope it will be a benefit for all of you. So can I have the PPT of the projector? From here? Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So the presentation will focus on some keywords, some terms. I will talk about the organizational communication, of course, women empowerment, equality, gender, and integration of women. Sorry. So before moving to the introduction, I have to tell you something about Algeria, and also to explain or to give you a general image about the Algerian society to understand later the statue of women in this society. At the beginning, I mean, Algerian society has gone through different and through several historical stages. So that contributed the image in which, or the image shaped in Algeria of today. At the beginning, we have the colonial period that lasts more than a century, in which women's roles emerged clearly in this or in that period of time. And in the 90s, Algeria experienced a civil war, which was also a stage of crisis in all domains, and its effect on the image of the statue of women. So the Algerian constitution, and as a reward to what women did in the post-civil war, decide to grant women in and give her many privileges, so new perspectives, and also modern Algeria and modern women, in which Algeria modern women were finally allowed to organize themselves politically and form organizations that could operate within national system. Women took advantages of their new political activism and began advocating for women's issues, especially women's rights within the family. And the discussion, as it's mentioned in the introduction, the discussion of or surrounding barriers to women's employment revealed a wide range of opinions. We don't have, we have different opinions according or surrounding the statue of women in the society in general, and in the workforce. Algerian society moved from one stage to another stage. So the modern women in society of today are currently involved and exercise autonomy in making professional decisions. So the main question or the leading question of this paper is how can the hidden mechanism be explained in organizational communication based on gender dimensions? We will try to answer the two sub-questions. What is the status of women working in the field of organizational communication in Algeria case? And what are the most important obstacles that hinder women from assuming leadership position at the communication level? The first concept that we will talk about is about organizational communication, and this is the main term. We have a lot of definitions, and I know you are specialized in the domain, so you already have an idea about the organizational communication, but let me give only this brief definition of the organizational communication, which is one of the field of knowledge that aims to understand the communicative phenomena in the organization. So how informations move at the organizations in formal, in informal ways, and even this communicational process within the institutions and organization. We have a lot of modern communication approaches that talk about organizational communication. I will talk about one of them, which is the glass ceiling, and it has a relationship with the position of women at the society, at the organization, sorry, which is a modern organizational phenomena emerged and was associated with the problem of women's issue within Western organization. This is the main definition of organizational communication, one of the definitions. The second term is the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is also defined as invisible gender discrimination. It is a kind of inequalities represented in the set of barriers or at the physical settings in institutions and organizations that can't allow women to advance in their professional life, although they possess, even if they have the talent and the competences to reach higher level in organizations. But according to this approach, women are always closed in this glass room or ceiling. Now, what do we mean by women empowerment in our paper? Here is the issue of women's empowerment is seen as the main key to reducing gender disparities. The concept of empowerment refers to the process by which women obtains her power. So here, the power is not only over resources, but also the greater self-confidence and the ability to make decisions in different environments, especially in the professional sphere or space. Now, women in Algerian society. In spite of women's in Algerian society, since the last 20 years, women continue slowly to gain power and influence in Algerian society. We talked about the transition from one period or one stage to another one. In all these phases or chronological or historical phases, women passed from one situation to another situation. And the primary cause of this empowerment is education, which is the most important principle or reason for the reduction of gender barriers between male and female. And if you see here, we have some statistics about the the presence of women in education. So more girls attending university and also education in general. I'm talking about middle, higher school, and even university. In the last years, the number of girls are more than boys at the university, at the Algerian university. So we moved to the 16% of more than 1 million students to graduate from the Algerian universities were girls. So this is one of the main reasons of the empowerment we are talking about. But if we move to the employment rate in Algeria from 2010 till 2019, by gender, we see that even if at the university and at the educational places or spaces, girls are more than boys, but at the workplace, still, of course, men are more than women, but the number of women at the workplaces are increasing. Here I will talk about the most challenges or most important challenges facing the female workforce in the organizational communication. I select 5 challenges. I will start with the organizational challenges, which is the first one or the first challenge that can female face at the organizational communication. And they mean all the factors related to administrative organization that may cause administrative obstruction of women from carrying out the role assigned to them, and that's the lack of power given to women, comparing, of course, with male. So, for example, here one of the most important obstacle is that Algerian men do not accept orders from females. I will tell you why. Because in Islamic culture, we are Muslim and we are Arab society. So in Islamic culture, the position of women is very sacred. It's very it's in high position. But the mentality of the society doesn't generally accept liberal women who can, for example, give orders to men, especially in the workplace. So this is one of the problems. Even if you are superior, but he doesn't, the other, I mean man, he doesn't accept orders from women. And this is a big issue. Not all of them, of course, but we have this category of persons. The second challenge is the lack of empowerment, is the set of obstacles that affects ability of the administrative leadership to influence that or take effective decisions and achieve the goals of organization. Women does not have the only responsibility for her. It's not only other organization, but it has other responsibilities, especially in our society. You have to be a good mother, a good wife, and at work you have also to improve yourself. So this one is one of the challenges. So women are looking for the empowerment, or to get this power to improve, that she can do a lot of things at one time, and sometimes it doesn't work. The cultural challenges, they are set of beliefs and practices related to the culture of the local community, and these practices and beliefs can negatively affect the communicative effectiveness of women. And even the contact, sometimes the contact between men and women at the workplace doesn't work. For example, the interaction, if you don't know, here we come back to the Islamic culture and also the Arab mind. Sometimes we have some type of women who don't accept to interact with men. So they are isolated from the other men, and they can't accept this interaction or communication within the organizational sphere, and it can also be a problem to facilitate communication at the society or at the institution. The last challenge is about the environmental and financial challenges. Here we are talking about the budget given to the department to the department allocated to women's. So the budget is different. We give more budget to the men's department comparing with women department, and this is one of the inequalities of this society. So in this case, women cannot be able to achieve their goals, and this is also, it can be a challenge for women. Here I will add another one, technological empowerment. I was thinking about it because the participation of women in the process of establishing technology, the role of women is only or became only as user. Women is only user of technology. So she doesn't have the role to design and to develop technology. In communication now, it's very important for women to be part of designing and also developing technology to get this technological empowerment. So if she does not, she will always be dependent to men, because man is the designer and he is the developer of the technology inside the institution. So women can be enabled to control the technology and its use, and it may become also another factor in creating another form of gender discrimination and inequality in communication with an organization in general. Here I will give some points as to conclude, as a conclusion. In general, we can say that Arab women and Algerian women, as part of, in particular, are not longer absent from contributing to the development process. They are present, and they have their touch and their role, but it still they are not satisfied with the traditional roles in which they used to appear, and to appear, of course, as they have demonstrated. They are able to manage, and they are able also to assume responsibilities, but still they are present in many domains, for example, social, political, economic, and even now, if we are talking about the communicative field, especially in management and the human resources, but it's still that women has a specific statute. For example, in other organizations, if we take, for example, the petroleum and the chemistry organizations, women are not present too much in these kind of organizations. The reason is most of the bases, the petroleum bases, are located in the Sahara, in the desert, and they work for example, they have a specific system to work. For example, they work for the whole month, far from their families, and after they have like 20 days of vacation. So it's very hard for women to go there to that basis and work in that conditions. Another point is that the various difficulties and obstacles prove that she is an individual. Women prove that she can be a good partner in the process of economic development, having the same effect as the case of men. Here I'm talking about the gender qualities, and even in achieving goals, many research prove that women can reach the same goals and as men. One of the domains in which women are dominant In Algeria, the first domain is education. Education, more than 80% are women. So it is a purely female job, education, higher education, secondary education, and even at the university, I mean the higher education, secondary and also primary schools. But one of the new domain in which we can find the also the huge number of women is communication and public relations. As business owner, she can own her project, she can manage it, and also uh, she can uh, she can be the owner of her project. So in this case, she can manage it in her way with using her competences and qualities. But in the public organizations, it's not the same case. This is the difference between the private institutions and the public institutions. So I tried to be brief to present, and as I mentioned before, it was a challenge for me to make this combination between gender studies and organizational communication. Even at the university, we don't have such as topics. We have in organizational communication other topics, but I think that it is a good opportunity for me to continue. Why not, and make some empirical studies concerning the gender studies or female at the organizational communication. Thank you.
Thank you, Halima, for your presentation and for the topics you brought to discussion. Indeed, gender issue is it is an important subject on organizational communication. Maybe not that developed as we would like, but I think it's definitely an important issue. And you brought also another element that comes from your place. You brought also the cultural issue here, which is a very important topic in organizational communication too. Not only about the culture of each organization, but the national culture.
Yeah.
So you brought different ingredients to the discussion, right? We have organizational communication and the concerns and the typical concerns of the area of study. We have the gender issue, and we have the Algerian issue, which has many connections with our own country and in the world. So this is not a simple matter. We talked a little bit earlier about this, about how deep this subject can and should be discussed, and the limits of this discussion. I think we should open the discussion to other participants. So if you have any questions, please, even if you are not with us, write down and send them to us. But now I would like to pass the word to my colleagues here, maybe to start the discussion. Yes, Anna Mello, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Halima, for your insight that is quite enriching and different for us. And I understand this is an exploratory thinking and reasoning about these issues. But you are telling, I have two comments, two questions. One has to do with the concept of empowerment. And you were emphasizing that empowerment comes also, not specifically, but it comes also from within.
Yeah.
It's not only given, the power is not given from the outside.
Exactly.
And must grow on the inside of the person, of the subject in this case. So I wonder if you could think a little bit together with us on this subject, which I'm particularly interested in, and especially in the context of the Algerian society. And you were also telling that women don't feel satisfied with the roles they play inside organizations. I would like to know if they, and if they do, how do they express this unsatisfaction?
You could answer now. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Concerning the concept of empowerment, I said that it is not only related to the resources, but also to the self-confidence that that comes from inside. Here is the case of some women they are the number of women are higher than boys at the university, but after finishing the degree, they get their diplomas and their degrees, but some of them don't like to work because maybe they prefer to have the traditional roles. They get married. They like to be only mother and wives, and also in this case I was talking about the challenge, the jobs which can be challenge for them. For I gave the example of the basis. We can find few women, not too much, but they believe in themselves and they want to improve that they can also be in this kind of a job, and this is the real empowerment and the real self confidence to improve yourself in a specific and limited job only for men. The second point, I said that they are not satisfied, not at the organization, but the modern women in the modern society, they are not satisfied with the traditional roles they had before. So that's why they are in different fields and domains to go out from this traditional stereotype of the women, which has only responsibility via her family and her society. This is the point. Thank you very much.
Another question? We have our audience. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Says Rita. Very interesting case study. I wonder how the research itself was received by the academic community and by the practitioners. Did you have already some reactions inside the academic community in Algeria or in other countries?
Not on this study, not on this one, because no, this is the first time to present this study. I have done another studies concerning gender on blogging, blogging, and how platforms and social media became a free space for Algerian women to express their thoughts, to ask for their rights. And I think that the image or the point of view concerning women in general in Algeria has changed. Now we accept this kind of research, and we accept this kind of practices through media, through digital platforms. As I said, I will continue this research and I will make it empirical, and we will see what reaction it will be.
Even in the country, right?
Even in the country, of course.
Yes. Any more questions? Elmano? Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for your presentation today. And it was a very good portrait of this reality. And I was wondering, how or if the government is trying to do something to change this reality, giving more opportunities for women to express their personality inside some companies, or doing some campaigns for gender equality inside communication, organization communication. And I was wondering also if these human are trying to do some mediatization of their daily lives inside these companies to make this visible, make these barriers visible, because through this process of mediatization, they could probably try to make this clear, or make this a good chance to promote this equality inside genders issues. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. So concerning the women activism,
Yeah.
of course we have many organizations, but as I said, women now feel more free. They are liberal. They can practice the job they want. But concerning the gender barriers at the institution or organizations, I think this case is not only in Algeria. If we, for example, took the example of the American elections between Trump and Hillary Clinton, I have read many articles about the elections, and it was explained by the glass ceiling is that this is your final destination for Hillary Clinton. You arrive to the final phase of the elections, but you can't be president because you are women. It's a hidden part. It's an invisible part. We don't say it, but through the practices inside the institutions, it is present. So in Algeria, we have many institutions and organizations in which we have women leaders, and they are good leaders. Also, we have models as a model in management, in human resources, and even the political field. But still, women are defending their rights through social media, through organization, through manifestations, and their voices arrive to the political system. And even at the political level, women and men have the same rights, politically talking. And even concerning, for example, the salaries in Algeria, we don't have difference. The salary of men and women are equal. If we have the same position, you are men and I am women, we have the same salary. And I think it's not the case in some European countries.
Yes, it's
so in Algeria there is no inequality. That's why I said that the combination between gender studies and organizational communication is not present, because in the reality we don't feel it. It exists in invisible parts in organizations, but if we took the general image of the society, we can't feel these inequalities between men and women. Talking about salaries, for example, talking about the constitution, we have the same rights and we have also the same duties. So this is the point.
The problem is that glass ceiling, it is a cultural question, right? It is not something that we see, and sometimes it has to do with women themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why it's so difficult to deal with, you know. And it's and you are not alone, of course, in Algeria, and we have all these the same problems around the world, and also in Portugal. So I think that this is why studies like yours are important, even in organizational communication, to make things more readable and understandable and clear. Yes, I would like to ask you something deeper than this discussion that is quite centered in Algeria, because we want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
About your country. But do you think that organizational communication as a professional and as a strategic field is affected by gender? Do you think that women run organizational communication in different way from men? Have you ever thought about it?
Maybe we can thought about it, or we can study it, but I think that she can
Be different.
be different. Of course, the women touch can bring something new comparing with men. I think, especially we are talking about communication, so I'm not sure, but the competences are different.
Yes.
The way that we communicate and the way that in which maybe the other men, I mean, communicate, maybe can bring different results on the organizational communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
But good results anyway from
Good
both
results.
sides,
Yeah.
right?
This is the most important.
Yes, we don't need to make things the same way to reach good results. Now, Paulo.
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to give you some comments or two remarks on this, which is very interesting. And one of the things that you made me think about is that usually when you think about organizational communication and change within the organization, we think it about how management is going to change the organization from the inside. What this kind of study makes me think about is that when the culture of cultural and social issues within a country or in a community is so strong, and the set of beliefs so different, probably it will be interesting to study that maybe the change needs to come from outside to the inside of the organization. If not, probably the management or the administration of the organization won't be so interested in change the status of men in the organization, because men don't want to lose power and to change the mentality. So that's an interchangeable thing that I think this study opens the door for that. Considering the part you talk about technology, I've been for the last 3 years managing an account of one of big companies in Morocco, and in the last years I've been meeting with them, and most of the people that I meet there are women that are really proficient in technology, which I believe that maybe technology, instead of being a problem for women, can be possibly seen as an opportunity to promote change, because that will happen whether it's men or women. Technology is moving, and it's important for women to pursue that. What I'd like to ask you: do you feel that inside the organizations that you've been studying in Algeria, are management really interested in changing things and make it to have more opportunities for women?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for your questions. The first question, I think that we cannot talk about the organizational communication without talking about the cultural communication. And this is the identity of the institutions. They are the organization is inside an external environment, so it is affected about these external factors. One of them are beliefs and culture and even traditions. So sometimes the the factors come from the external environment, and it's shape a specific kind or specific image of institutions, and this is also present in our society. For example, sometimes even if you want to change or to make it in a different way, maybe the society will not accept. So this is another problem. Talking about technology, I said that of course we have also in Algeria women that practice technology better than men do, but we have to work more on using in technology by women to be a factor of empowerment. Another factor of empowerment, which is technological empowerment, to do not be dependent to men in using technology. And also technology is one tool that allowed women to talk about their rights and to defend their rights. The third question was about
are organizations, the management organization really interested in promoting change?
Here, if we are talking about private institutions, things are different comparing with public. In public institutions, you have to follow the system. You have to, how to say it? The creativity is less than the private atmosphere. But if you are in the private atmosphere, of course, we have many private institutions, a new one with a different way of managing things. And I think maybe these private institutions can impact the public one, yes, to make them think in different way and to bring creativity into institutions.
Change by example, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Any more questions? We have another question. Oh, yes. Rita, please. It's not working.
Oh, yes. Hi, thank you so much for this great presentation and for bringing such an interesting case study. Yeah, I guess that formal rights and formal ways of doing cannot fight years of social norms and of unhidden social norms or taken for granted that you so clearly explained and give amazing examples. I was just wondering if I think it touches a bit on what Professor Teresa Ruão also asked you, but it's a bit how, if you, I know this is an exploratory study, so sorry for having so many questions, but this is really interesting. I was wondering if they, if the women that are now in communication and PR, because I think you said that they are now moving to these fields, if they push for different ways of portraying women, if they push for non-traditional roles for women in terms of all their tasks and their job tasks, and also in terms of the way they communicate, if it's different. I don't want to push for this difference between women and men, but I was wondering if they push for different ways of portraying women and for different roles in society for women, and how are they received by audiences if they can do this? Because, like, does the role in terms thinking about industry and about audiences, how it is received. I mean, do these new non-traditional roles, or the modern women, I think it's how you said it, but I'm not sure. Do they sell more, or do they not sell more? This is like a question I was curious to learn about. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lima?
Yeah.
It's a difficult question?
No, it's not difficult. But you know, I feel more comfortable in French and Arabic. Sometimes I don't find the right words to explain the idea. I hope that my English was clear and to transmit the informations. So concerning women in public relation, which is a new field. It's not a new field, but it is one of the most demanded now by women. And you know, women are ambitious and place their focus on develop themselves. That's why the tasks are the same. Talking about the public relations tasks, are there is no difference between how can men practice or do things in public relations and how women can do it. But maybe the only difference it's that women maybe in the society make more efforts to improve themselves. So maybe especially using the digital means to promote their organizations. If we are talking, of course, about the private atmosphere again, because in the public atmosphere things are the same. This is the point, okay? I think that I hope that my answer is clear and you are satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. Any more questions? No? It is time to close. Yes, boss?
Time.
Thank you, Alima, very much for your sharing and for answering all our questions and
with pleasure.
Yes, and all our curiosity and about Algeria and about your culture and the way women are in organizational communication today. And I hope you enjoyed also coming here to the University of Minho and to Portugal, and you met some of our of the members of our academic community in this area. So we are looking forward for your next visit, or maybe one of us can visit you in Algeria.
Yeah, I welcome you in our university and in my town also. It was a great pleasure for me too to interact with you and to have this opportunity and this seminar to talk about this topic, which was, as I said, a challenge for me. I hope that I can participate with you in other scientific manifestations and seminars. I thank you. Yeah, I just want to thank you again. Many thanks to Sir Professor Jose, Professor Anna, and of course Professor Teresa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alina. Bem, então despedimos-nos aqui. Abraço a todos e encontramos numa próxima aventura académica. Até qualquer dia. Thank you. Are we out of there?